Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 4th of February and welcome to the newspaper analysis. In the today's video, we'll take up the entire Hindu newspaper analysis. Also, we will see the good articles from the Indian Express explained section. Now, first of all, before starting up, the PDF, the explainer PDF of the articles you can download from the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel is by the name of Thinking Palette. The link for the Telegram channel is also there in the description box. Now, first of all, let's see that how to choose the articles which are relevant for our examination. Now, first of all, let's see the Indian Express explained section. And here, the first article is talking about the Pakistan-China relationship. So, the Pak-China axis has been evolving from basically in last few years, and in present times it has become a very big kind of a concern. So we'll understand this particular axis. Then after that, below article is talking about the Haryana's law on the local job quota and the High Court which had stayed this particular thing. So we will see this particular article. Then moving to the Hindu, and here we have, first of all, let's see the text and the context section. So the need to boost labor income and the consumption expenditure. So basically it is talking on the budget, that how budget had addressed these things, whether it has addressed or whether it has not addressed. Then the artist manifesto. Now this particular article is talking about a storyline of a movie, not important article, much fine, academically much substance is not given. Then moving to the Hindu, this is the page number 1. Indian diplomats to boycott Beijing games, fine. So because of the clash and because of the standoff going on, such kind of thing is there. However, such day-to-day kind of developments you are not needed to go and to see very much. Then Haryana stays Haryana job quota for the local. We'll see this particular article with respect to the politics of regionalism. Tamil Nadu government returns NEET bill to assembly. So the Tamil Nadu wants that the NEET fine should not be applicable in the Tamil Nadu, and for that particular thing they had passed the bill. Now governor had returned the bill. Fine. So assembly might pass the bill again. Okay, and this particular thing is going on. With respect to exam, you don't need to go into this particular development. Fine. However, this particular thing again points to one thing, that how the chief minister and the governor, they are at a loggerheads, and this particular federal friction or the federal confrontation is going on. Yesterday also we have seen such kind of keywords. Then after that, moving on, fine. Air traffic controllers overworked. So with respect to the work culture, we'll see this particular thing. Fine. Then the city section, okay. Regional issues, rising number of COVID-19 cases, political news, advertisements, all these things are there, nothing important. Please skip this section completely. Then reaching to the editorial section, a border move that will only bolster the China. So briefly we'll see this article. Curious case of Meghalaya's COVID-19 relief package. Now see, I always say you this particular thing, that day-to-day development in the COVID-19 and all these kind of things are not important, because onto such line of things the questions are not expected into the UPSC, and these things are very much evolutionary. But this article is different. This article is taking a case study and is providing the transparency, public audit and accountability. We'll see this article. Then after that, moving on, winter is here, fine. So this article is talking about the games in China, how they have a kind of a political underpinning. Then a disjointed response or taxation on cryptocurrency has been discussed briefly. We'll see this article. Does the budget deliver on the reforms? So it is a critical analysis of the budget. I'll talk on this particular thing also. Then further moving on, muting the media. So this is a notebook section. Now guys, into the notebook section, the author, they just talk about their some of their personal and their some kind of takes on some emerging issues that are going on. And then moving on, basically this entire page is filled with the political news. Please don't go into this particular thing. Fine. Then guys, again further here we can see that the air traffic controllers overworked, understaffed. So with respect to the work culture, we'll see this particular thing. Then further moving on, okay, the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic, how it is unfolding. Fine. Supreme Court dismissed plea to postpone gate exam. Nothing important into this thing is there. Chandrayaan 3 set for launch in the August. Fine. So basically Chandrayaan 3, it has been delayed because of the pandemic. Okay, first of all there were some technical glitch ups that were there, then after that pandemic came, now it has been scheduled for the launch in August. Is it clear? Fine. Then further moving on, ISIS chief blows himself up amid the US raid. So this is a kind of a victory that the America is calling, that see, over the past few years there is a massive crackdown onto the ISIS, and now one of the leads of the ISIS has been killed by intervention that was there. Fine, but please don't go much important, this is not much important for our UPSC examination. Okay, then Jaffna fishermen hold protest against Indian trawlings. We'll see that what this trawling issue is all about. Russia deploys more troops in Belarus every day, more and more troops on all these things are not important. Fine. Then further on to the business page. Okay, basically crypto tax has been talked about. We'll see it into the editorial, and then all the COVID trends, etc. Such kind of things are not important. Then the sports page is there. So this is all about the overview of the articles, and now let's discuss all these articles one by one in the detail. Okay, meanwhile, okay, good morning everybody, good morning Pallavi, Sandeep, Shiva, Binu, okay, Swati, good morning. Okay, sir, please share your UPSC journey. Yes, definitely, we'll do that someday, sure. Okay, so first of all, taking up the GS code for today, and guys, one announcement also I have to make with respect to the MCQs. We will be starting it from today itself. Fine. Okay, so today's quote is about Benjamin Disraeli. So Benjamin Disraeli says, "Power has only one duty to secure the social welfare of the people." So the power should not be used in a negative connotation to impose a authoritarianism, to rule with an iron fist. Rather, the power has only one purpose, that is the public welfare, to ensure the justice, to deliver the due that has to be given to the society. So the positive role of power has been talked by the Benjamin Disraeli. Fine, we can use this particular quote into the GS paper number 4. Fine, we can also use it in GS paper number 2. See guys, there is one particular section in our GS paper number 4 in the topic number 6, that is the ethics of international relation. And in the ethics of international relation, there are the issues of war that are there. And in the issues of war, basically the power, how the war can be justified. Fine, sometimes whether it can be justified or not, if such kind of question comes, we can use the Benjamin Disraeli's reference there. So that is all about the quote today. And now let's take the first of all the MCQ questions. Okay, so the students, first of all, how these MCQs will be designed, let's understand this particular thing. So the MCQs that I will be asking, they will be from the previous day's current affairs. Okay, so as today is the 4th of February, so the yesterday 3rd February articles, the questions will be framed. I will be asking them, and please comment your answers into the comment box, and in the next day I will be telling the right answers to these particular things. So a trail we will be making every day from previous days current affairs. Will be framing a question. Please write your responses into the comment box, because if only the response will be there, then only we will continue this particular initiative, because it will take a separate kind of a bandwidth to do that now. Okay, so first question is, consider the following statements. Okay, so this is on Israel. Israel is situated towards the east of the Mediterranean Sea. Jordan is the longest flowing river in the Israel. Fine, so there are certain statements. Identify the correct statement. So 30 years of India-Israel diplomatic relation has been this year. So Israel happens to be an important issue. Then consider the issues of marital rape. Everyday marital rape is coming. India is one of the 50 countries that have outlawed the marital rape, and marital rape of an adult wife who is unofficially or officially separated is dealt by normal rape laws. Fine, so consider the statements and write the correct answer. Then, with reference to the Constitution of India, consider the following statements. Fine. No High Court shall have the jurisdiction to declare any central law to be constitutionally valid. Any amendment to the Constitution of India cannot be called in to question by the Supreme Court of India. So, again, the statements have been given. Please consider the statements and write your correct answer. Fine. You can, after the video, you can pause it and you can answer them. Consider the following statements with respect to the MG Narega. The Act provides the legal right to employment for adult members of rural households. As per the scheme, at least 50% beneficiary must be women. Funding is shared between the center and state. Is it clear? So all these are the questions related to the current affairs that we have taken. Some of the questions will not be directly from that. Please use your reasoning and try to answer that particular thing. Okay, so after this video you can comment that. Now taking up the first article. So the first article, we are taking on to the Pakistan-China axis and how it is a concern for the India, and the trajectory of the relations will be understanding by this particular graph also that we have made. Please guys use it in your answers also. Now, first of all, what had happened? Basically, if you see the India here, okay, on one hand we have China, on another hand we have Pakistan, and India's situation is such that the China India is actually sandwiched between the Pakistan and China, and being sandwiched with the hostile neighbors on both the sides actually has a lot of implication on India's national security, and because of the support that they can lend to the non-state actors operating into the India, internal security also becomes challenging. Clear? So in order to consolidate the security calculus of India, India needs to make sure that India breaks the nexus between the Pakistan or and China, or India needs to strengthen its capabilities to such an extent that they don't create a considerable deterrence to the India's rise. So understand this particular thing. Now, first of all, guys, when we talk about the Pakistan and China relation, so Pakistan and China had often basically described their relation with a lot of metaphors. For example, the relation higher than the mountains and deeper than the oceans. So such kind of references are there for the Pakistan-China relationship. Now, Pakistan China relationships at the start were very much subdued. Fine, fine. I will be coming on to this particular graph later words. Okay. So, Pakistan and India, the Pakistan and China relation into the starting were very much subdued. Fine. Pakistan started the diplomatic relation with the China only into the 1951 after India had done. And in the starting time, the Pakistan and China were not very much close. Why? Because Pakistan actually was into the USA's camp. So you know that after the 1945 the Cold War started, the entire world was divided in two groups. On one hand there was the USA, on another hand there was the USSR. So the Pakistan was into the USA's group, and China was basically very much close to the Russia because of the socialism and communism ideology which both have in common. So as Pakistan was into the USA's group, China and Pakistan was not very much close because of the ideological difference that was there. Basically, the Pakistan was also the part of the SEATO and CENTO, which was led by the USA. So therefore, the China-Pakistan did not came close together during this particular time. However, the China and Pakistan started to come close after during the India-China War of 1962, because the China wanted to leverage the Pakistan's strategic situation. So China started to move towards the Pakistan, and moreover, the Pakistan got the support of China diplomatically into the 1965 India-Pakistan war that was going on, and this is the point where the relation started to become more and more deeper. Now guys, basically what had happened during this particular time, there was the boundary agreement of 1963 that was signed between the Pakistan and China. What is this boundary agreement? So basically, this 1963 boundary agreement between the Pakistan and China was such that, see, here you can see the Shaksjam Valley which is there. Okay, so Shaksjam Valley is there here. Now this Shaksjam Valley, it is claimed by India. Okay, it is a territorial disputed territory. It belongs to India. But what happened? China gave it, the Pakistan gave it to China in the 1963. Pakistan gave it to the China into the 1963. Okay, and this particular region lies into the Hunza Gilgit region of the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So this actually became a very much irritant between the India, China and Pakistan, because India said that this territory belonged to India. How Pakistan has given it to the China? So this happened, and actually it brought the two countries, Pakistan and China, very closer. After that, guys, what happened? Because of this 1963 agreement, Karakoram Highway was also built by the China's effort. Karakoram Highway in the Pakistan, it is called as the Pakistan-China Friendship Highway. So it was also built after the 1963 agreement, and this is the point where the countries started to come very close. Now, guys, in 1970s, actually the Pakistan and China became very close when the Pakistan's ruler Yahya Khan facilitated the outreach between the USA and between China. Understand this particular thing, guys. There was a secret visit in 1971 that was made by the USA. Is it clear? Into the China. Why? Because in 1971, okay, India was basically about to fight the Bangladesh Liberation War. Okay, and guys, during this particular time, India was a kind of a credible threat, fine, which was perceived by the USA, Pakistan, all. And here at this point of a time, China, Pakistan, USA, fine, all they came together and they were against the India. And if you have read your history, then history after the independence, 1971 was a year when this nexus USA, China, Pakistan was brewing. India then signed that treaty of friendship with the USSR in 1971. So basically, this secret visit of the USA that was there, it was organized by the Pakistan at that point of a time, and it shows that it was a very high period. Fine. So the Kissinger's secret visit of 1971, fine, was facilitated by the Pakistan. So this was something which happened here. Now guys, all this particular thing was going on, and a very another kind of a breakthrough that came was into the 1986 between the China and Pakistan. Now what was this breakthrough? Here the China provided the nuclear technologies to the Pakistan. Already India was receiving the nuclear support from the USSR, fine, and India's capability was increasing. So China said that now we will provide the nuclear support to the Pakistan, and in 1986 an agreement to facilitate the transfer of civil nuclear technology was started, and in 1991 China agreed to supply the indigenous developed nuclear power plant to the to the Pakistan for the first time. So this is the high points between the two countries relationship. Now guys, actually 1988, fine, there was the Rajiv Gandhi's visit, fine, which actually again changed the trajectory of the relationships. What happened, and actually what was the scenario during this particular time? Understand. Now guys, understand, this particular time was one when the China was coming out with their open door policy. If you follow the newspaper regularly, I had explained you that actually the Deng Xiaoping, he was the architect of the China's reforms. He started with the open door policy, okay, and actually he had a vision of bringing the reforms. Fine, open door policy provided that China will open up their economy, okay, and the China will basically be moving towards becoming the manufacturing powerhouse. They will become the factory of the world. So this open door policy and Chinese liberalization was happening during this particular period only. Fine, Deng Xiaoping actually had started it already. Now it wanted to take the help of the India in order to consolidate their manufacturing, okay, in order to get the robust market they wanted India. So therefore now this particular time they started to come towards the India, and this was the time when actually there was a little bit decline between the India China Pakistan relation that started to come. So this happened, and through 1990s, fine, and the starting of the 2000s, the Pakistan and China relation little bit got stabilized, normalized, and with the India China was coming more closer. This thing was happening. Fine. However guys, again the problem came in 2005. Why? Because in 2005 India signed in 2005, what happened? India signed with the USA the nuclear agreement, civil nuclear agreement, and we were signing the civil nuclear agreement and we were going near to the USA. Again China became irritated and China started to go near the Pakistan. Fine, let's understand this particular relationship trajectory here onto this particular diagram that I had made. So we can see that actually this was the time, fine, 1948 onwards, 1947, fine, we got independence. 1948 onwards, this was the relation that was going on between the Pakistan and China. In 1951 only they had recognized the China. After that guys, 1962, this was the 1962, and after that this particular relation went up and up till 1990s, sorry. Why? Because here the India was becoming a important market and China wanted to leverage. So in order to go near to the India, the relation actually started to decline since 2005. What happened in 2005? Civil nuclear agreement between the USA and India, and after that actually again the relation started to improve between the Pakistan. They became more and more closer, and guys, basically two high points are there in between 2013. 2013 was the Depsang incursions that was carried by the China. This was a low moment for India and China, and because it was the low moment for India and China, Pakistan and China relation will go up. Here you can see. Then 2017 came. What was the 2017? There was the Doklam crisis between the India and China, and as it is a low point between India and China, the Pakistan and China will go closer. So here again we can see a bump, and then guys in 2019 we can see that the relation went something like this. What happened in 2019? There was the section number 3, into the article 370. What happened? happened? In Article 370, India carried a monumental change, and the special status, the autonomy that was granted to the Jammu and Kashmir, that was removed. Jammu and Kashmir was made the part of India as other states were. So by this particular thing, China became very irritated, and since 2019, what had happened, the relation between the Pakistan and China had went like this, and as they are going closer, the implications are on the India. Now guys, if we talk about the basically convergence between the two countries, understand that the Pakistan has a huge economic dependence onto the Beijing. See, the Pakistan right now is into the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force. Pakistan had not taken the sufficient step to stop the money laundering, and because of that particular thing, Financial Action Task Force had put Pakistan into the grey list. We have seen it earlier. Now because of that thing, economic cooperation with other countries had little bit reduced, so the China becomes a very important economic partner for Pakistan, so the Pakistan has a dependency on it. Moreover guys, the Beijing has presided the chair of the Financial Action Task Force, and by that particular thing also, the China can be favorable, China can rule in favor to the Pakistan. So again, the Pakistan's dependence on China is very much high. Understand this economic dependence, very important point. Moreover guys, from Pakistan's perspective, now after 2020, the China has become even more important. Why China has become even more important? See, USA has pulled out of the region. USA has pulled out of Afghanistan. Earlier, USA was giving a lot of money to the Pakistan so that Pakistan can keep Afghanistan under control, can keep the terrorism in Afghanistan under check. But now as USA had pulled, that source of money has gone. So therefore, again now China, the dependence on China has increased. Moreover, understand this particular thing. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, China's Belt and Road Initiative, these initiative provides a lot of funding to the Pakistan. So again, the Pakistan, the reliance onto the China has increased. Now if we see into the military, into the basically military cooperation, that Pakistan army had also inducted the batch of the Chinese VT4 battle tanks. So the military cooperation is increasing. Okay, so is it a only one side relation? Only the China needs the Pakistan? No, the Pakistan needs the China. Is it only Pakistan needs China? No, China also needs Pakistan. Why? Understand this particular thing. Guys, see, there is East Turkey, East Turkestan Islamic Movement, ETIM, understand, East Turkestan Islamic Movement. Now this East Turkestan Islamic Movement is very active into the Xinjiang region of China. Now in the Xinjiang region of China, there are the Uyghur Muslims that are there, and these Uyghur Muslims, they want to establish their own dominion there. Clear? It has been said that they are not happy with the China. Moreover, China has also been accused that they commit human right abuses onto the Uyghur Muslims. Now the Uyghur Muslims and the ETIM, it is perceived to be a terrorist outfit by the China. Now what had happened in Afghanistan, Taliban has come to the power. Now the Afghanistan can provide some indirect support to the ETIM into the Xinjiang region of China, and then there will be more destabilization that will come into the Xinjiang region. So what happens? The China wants to maintain the warm relations with Afghanistan so that Afghanistan's Taliban does not support the ETIM into the Xinjiang region. And who will help here? The Pakistan will help here, because the Pakistan has always been hand in glove with the Taliban. Is it clear? So Pakistan will facilitate the good relation with Afghanistan, and by having good relation with Afghanistan, they will try to make sure that the ETIM and the basically the Uyghur Muslims, they are not being supported. So this is the reason both they need each other, and it is a problem onto the India that is coming. Guys, see, these points are actually very good points, and if these 3-4 points that I have provided in you last, Financial Action Task Force point, CPEC point, fine, and the Uyghur Muslims and ETIM point, very highly you can use it in your examination. That is all. Now we'll be moving to the next article. See, now the Haryana's law on the local job quota and the High Court stay. So this is the second article that we are going to discuss. Now guys, basically this particular article will be important in GS paper number 1. This article will be important into the GS paper number 1, that is in the topics related to regionalism. It is there. Now understand this particular thing. See, regionalism it is an excessive love towards your region. It is an excessive love towards your region. It is a kind of a loyalty that a person harbors for the region. Let's say I am from Gujarat, so my excessive loyalty for the Gujarat might turn into the regionalism. Understand this particular thing. Regionalism in itself is not a negative concept. In itself, it is not something bad. But sometimes regionalism becomes bad. Why? Because regionalism goes against the national interest. There, the regionalism is bad. We'll understand this particular thing also. Now, what had happened over the past few years, we are seeing these particular things that the state are excessively going towards the son of soil policies. They are going for the politics of nativism. Now, son of soil and politics of nativism, what it is? It is the negative use of regionalism for the political advantage. Understand, let's this particular thing. See, today if you see what had happened, different state, everybody are facing one common problem. Unemployment is a very big problem. Clear? There is the economic stagnation that has come. Is it clear? These are the problems. Now, because of the pandemic of COVID-19, all these problems had become even more exacerbated. So, state governments now they need to show that okay, we are doing something. The youth, they are angry. See, understand, please use this particular point. According to the United Population Fund, which is actually called as the UNFPA. UNFPA says that 2020 to 2040 is the golden window of India. Why the golden window of India? During this particular period, we will have the youngest population in the world. The average age of India right now is around 29 years. So, because of the young population that we will have a distinct advantage. And this distinct advantage is called as the demographic dividend window that India is facing. So, 2020 to 2040 is a demographic dividend window of India. We will have so much of the young people, they can contribute into the economic growth. But if these young people, this demographic dividends advantage is to be taken, they are needed to be given the jobs, they are needed to be given the employment, but employment is not there. There needs to be some economic development, that is also not there. Last year, fine, we have seen a technical recession that was there. Fine. So therefore, what the state governments are coming? State governments are coming with the politics of nativism. They are coming with the politics of nativism. They are promoting the son of soil policy. Son of soil policy. What is this son of soil? They say that on the resources of our state, only our people should have the claim. Is it clear? Only our people should have claim on the resources of the state. What resource? Jobs. Fine. So all the jobs should first be given to our own people, and if there is some little bit scope, then the outsiders should be given the jobs. Now, on a prima facie, it looks that okay, it is nothing bad. But guys, what will happen if every state will come out with such policy of regionalism? Then the national interest will get impacted in such a way that India is one common territory where everybody has been given the freedom of, basically freedom of residence, freedom of profession, freedom of occupation. What article number 19 provides? Article number 19 of the fundamental right, article number 19 of the constitution provides that you have a fundamental right. You can move throughout the territory of India, you can reside in any part of the country, and your right to occupation, your right to work is also a fundamental right. Now, if you will be denied the work into the another states out, which is not your home state, well, this article 19's spirit will be upheld? No. Secondly, if every state will come out with this, what will happen? The spirit of Indianness will be gone away. Now, in this particular direction, guys, this is, guys, actually the entire background. This is the entire background, and if this background is there, then this particular article will make little more sense. Now, understand this particular article. Now, guys, what happened? I told you that the different states are going for the politics of nativism. Haryana also decided to go for such kind of thing, and in 2020, the Haryana Assembly passed a bill, that is the Haryana State Employment of Local Candidates Bill 2020. Now, this particular bill provided that 75% of the reservation in the private sector, not government sector, in the private sector, 75% of reservation is needed to be given to the local people for the post which are giving salary up to 30,000 rupees. For all the post where the salary is up to 30,000 rupees in private sector, 75% of the people needs to be the natives. Is it clear? Now, before the Haryana, the Andhra Pradesh government has also done similar kind of thing in November 2019. Andhra Pradesh has also passed the Andhra Pradesh Employment of Local Candidates in the Industries and Factories Bill 2019. And what they have done? They have reserved 3/4 of the jobs for the local candidates within the 3 years of the commencement of this act. Different state governments reserving the job for their own people. Now, how this particular thing will be problematic? This will be problematic in certain way. Number one, the spirit of the constitution, which provides you the right to work anywhere and right to reside anywhere, this particular thing will be violated. Second, guys, what will happen? Ease of doing business of India will actually go down. Whenever an MNC is coming in a state, it wants that human resource accessibility should not be restricted. When you are saying that only one state's people will be hired, what happened? The human resources accessibility is getting deterred. India is the human resource capital of the world, so we need high skilled professionals. So for high skilled professionals, one state might not be sufficient. So such kind of things will reduce the ease of doing business of India. Then, guys, thirdly, what will happen? It will start a kind of a bad precedent. All the states will come in such kind of a thing, and this particular thing will then not be very much good. Fourthly, guys, what will happen? It will actually give a feeling of separatism. It will give rise to a feeling of discontent. Us versus them feeling will become more pronounced. All these problems are there. And guys, fifth, it will become a convenient political tool. It will become a convenient political tool. Now, what had happened? Politicians, they have just provided that okay, we had given you the 75% of job, but you tell me, has even been a single new job created? No, not even a single new job has been created. Fine. So where are the meaningful reforms? They are not there. Clear? So it is just a kind of a convenient political tool that will be misused, and the real reforms will not be coming. This is about it. Now, guys, what had happened? Basically, as this particular law came, it was challenged. It was challenged into the Punjab and Haryana High Court, and the Punjab and Haryana High Court now had put a stay onto this particular law. It has put a stay on this particular law, which is a welcome step that had happened. Fine. So this is something. Moreover, the industries in Haryana, they also said that the employees had a fundamental right to work in any part of India, and such kind of thing is good. So, guys, this is all about this thing, and directly in GS paper number 1, it will be a very important topic. It has been mentioned. So that is all about it. And now moving to the next article, and guys, please note this down in the static portion of your GS paper number 1. Not only for current affairs, in static portion it can be used in any answer on the regionalism that is coming. Economic regionalism is a very big issue, so please note it down in your copy. Now moving to the next article. The curious case of Meghalaya's COVID-19 relief package. The curious case of Meghalaya's COVID-19 relief package. So understand this particular article. First of all, guys, basically when we talk about the GS paper number 2 and GS paper number 4, there this article will be utilized. How? I will tell you. GS2 and GS4, there is a topic of transparency that is there. There is a topic of transparency and accountability that is there. So in the transparency and accountability, we'll utilize this article. Now understand this particular thing. See, we have seen the COVID-19 pandemic is bringing a lot of inequality. It is bringing a lot of economic crisis. Is it clear? Particularly the poor people, they had suffered a loss. According to the Oxfam, it has been provided that India is seeing a K-shaped recovery. What is this K-shaped recovery? Certain sections are actually improving. Which sections are improving? Not only improving, they are seeing a massive growth. The people who were involved in IT sector, the people who were in service sector where work from home was possible, they actually have seen a kind of an increase in their incomes. But the people in non-formal sector, find the daily wage earners, they are actually not, their condition is going down by day, and this particular gap, guys, actually that is developing, differential that has developed between, this differential brings the inequality. Okay, so inequality is there. What we need to do? We need to protect our vulnerable sections, and in this direction, the COVID-19 relief is given by the different states. COVID-19 relief is given in different states. Now, whether this COVID-19 relief is reaching to the people or not, this is a cause of concern. Many states come out with scheme, but effectiveness, fine, accountability is to be seen. So this was the entire background, and keeping this background in your mind, let's read this particular article. Now, guys, what had happened? The Meghalaya particularly, it came out with the crawl scheme. crawl scheme, that is the Chief Minister's Relief Against Wage Loss. In this, it was provided that the wage support will be provided to the people fine working in unorganized sector, construction sector. We will provide them the support. Okay, and in this capacity the scheme came, but at that point of a time scheme did not provided that which people will be provided the relief, how much relief will be given. Okay, nothing was there. So into this particular direction, guys, there was an RTA that was filed by a civil group. Okay, a civic group, an RTA was filed, and it was asked that, okay, tell us how many people had actually got the relief under this particular crawl scheme. So this civil group was Thama U Rangli Juki TUR. It filed an RTA. Government provided that we had provided the relief to 1,60,000 people, and the money had been transferred into their account. So 1,60,000 people, fine, money has been transferred, 2,100 rupees to 5,000 rupees. Okay, everything is good. Now here comes the civil society activism, NGO activism. Clear? And guys, from this particular point, even in GS paper number 2, the role of NGO and civil society, this article will be utilized. Very important point. See what happened. The unions, fine, or the NGOs, they decided that we will check that whether the government's claim of providing the relief to 160,000 people is right or not. And what happened? They disseminated this entire information through the WhatsApp, through the community websites, through the electronic news channel to the people. Into the RTA, the name of the 1,60,000 people that were given, fine, it was created into the digital searchable database. Fine, it was created into a digital searchable database by a organization Gram Vani, and people's name was searched and they were given a phone call, and it was asked that your name has been released by the government, whether you have got this money or not. And guys, using the IVR, 1,35,000 calls were made to the people, and they were informed that government has provided that you have been given the money. Have you actually received it in your bank account? It got transferred. And guys, this actually became a virtual public audit. It became a virtual public audit. Now, what is accountability? Understand this particular thing. Accountability means the answerability with respect to the power. Now the government said that we had provided the funding, so to check that particular thing, government's accountability becomes important. Government provided accountability by releasing a data. Now we will check that whether that accountability is correct or not, and for that the public can do the public audit. But actually there is no formal tool of public audit. So here the civil societies and NGOs role come into the place in such a way that they had invented a public audit mechanism by using the RTA information. When they started this public audit, they find that only 13% of the people who had responded, they had actually received the full amount that was mentioned into the RTA. So what has happened? Basically, there was a kind of a irregularization that was there. Now the NGOs, civil societies, they started to ask the accountability of the government. Fine. However, government, fine, though they can they need to show eagerness to cooperate in this particular thing, and they should held the guilty to the people who were involved into this particular scam. Government did the opposite. Government started to shrug off their responsibility. So what lesson we can take from this particular development? The lesson we can take is that the NGOs and civil societies, they can be the change makers. They can work as a positive catalyst in bringing the social justice for the people. And Meghalaya's example, Meghalaya's case study is very good one. Okay, this case study we can use. Now this exercise has an implication not only in Meghalaya but in the entire country. See, the center and the state government, they had spent thousands of crores of rupees money into the past few years, either as a district mineral foundation trust fund. Now what is this district mineral foundation trust? Basically the areas where the mining is happening, there the water, air, everything has polluted. So some money will be collected into this DMF, district mineral foundation, and that money will be given to the people's welfare. So crores of rupees have been given either as a DMF fund or as a disaster relief fund, compensatory afforestation management fund, fine, management and plan by the compensatory afforestation management planning authority, campa. So when the for a developmental purpose trees are being cut, some money is to be deposited in campa fund. For that money will be used for afforestation. So thousands of crore rupees have been spent. Now by the way in which the Meghalaya had used used that particular RTA answer in making sure that whether actually it has happened or not, in the same way all the fund which is being spent can be checked, can be verified, accountable accountability can be tagged. So this is a very good example where the NGOs and civil societies had played a very important role. You can use it. Now guys, the citizen centric accountability is becoming more and more important, and into this particular direction, apart from the Meghalaya, Rajasthan is also playing a very important role, and it is asking an accountability law. So through law, they want to ask the accountability. So this accountability law is something very good that is also happening. So guys, all these things are a very good lesson, and please do utilize it as a case study. Please do utilize it as a case study in transparency, in accountability, and in third, the role of NGO and civil society. We can use it as a case study. So that is all about it. Fine. Please note down these points. Very, very advisable. Now we'll move to the next article. A border move that will only bolster China. Okay, so this particular article, guys, we can understand with respect to understanding the national security of India. So with respect to the national security of India, we can use this particular article, and even with respect to understand the irritants between the India and China, this article can be understood. Okay, okay guys, I just wanted to ask one particular thing from you. Please reply in the comment if you want. Okay, so every day I see that there are some of the comments, some of the doubts that you guys are facing in terms of preparation, in terms of other things such as the note making, etc. So I was thinking that if you guys want, we can have a live Q&A session on all these particular things. Okay, so if you want a live Q&A session where you can ask your doubts and immediately I can give the responses on some of these key and common concerns that are there, if you want it, we can organize it. Okay, so please tell me if such kind of thing should be done or not. Now coming to this particular article. So guys, what this article is saying, see, recently the Indian Army chief had provided that there are, out of the friction points that are there between India and China, majority of friction points have been resolved. See, here you can see, here you can see that the LAC is going on. Fine, here you can see that the LAC is going on, line of actual control. Now fine, onto this line of actual control, since 2020, March 2020, the China had shown an excessive confrontation, and many of the patrolling points, many of the strategic points, China had took them under their control. So now what has happened, there were large number of points, basically 5 points were there which were a big friction. Now these friction points were the Depsang, Galwan, Hot Springs, Gogra, north bank of Pangong So, Kailash range, and Demchok. So out of these 5 points, now it has been said that out of these out of the 5 or 6 friction points that are there, the 5 have been resolved. Out of 6, actually the 5 have been resolved. Out of 6, 5 have been resolved, it has been said. Now guys, only one friction point is not resolved, that is the hot spring or the patrolling post 15. It is said that only this point is there which has to be resolved. Now understand first of all the location of these particular points. Fine guys, see, you don't need to go too much into this particular thing, don't sweat too much, fine, over here. But one thing, see, with respect to the north and south location, just have a little bit idea, because into the past UPSC has asked many times a question onto the north to south mapping, sometimes rivers, sometimes passes, it has been asked. Now from last 2 years, again and again, as these strategic points are coming, so north to south position, please keep it in your mind. So first of all, here we can see that the Depsang plain is there in the north, Depsang plain is there into the north. Fine, here the Dolat Beg Oldie is also there. Fine, then the Galwan Valley is there, then below the south. So in the north, the Daulat Beg Oldie and the Depsang plain. Then we have the Galwan Valley in the south. Then south of Galwan Valley, we have this north bank of Pangong So, which is a friction point. And then we have the south bank of the Pangong So. And here, fine, here we have the hot springs between the Galwan Valley and the north bank of Pangong So. So this is the location. Now, it has been said that what has happened, the comment has been made that out of the 6, 5 friction points have been resolved. Now the hot spring is a point which is not resolved. So guys, by logic, even the Depsang has also been resolved by the statement that has been given. Now the article provides this particular thing, that we are making a statement that the Depsang has been resolved. So this particular thing might be suitable for Indian political narrative, but this thing will be used later by the China for their disadvantage, for their advantage. They'll say that you have said that the Depsang is resolved. Okay, so whatever is the position, we agree on that particular thing. You say that we are acceptable. This resolved. So wherever the Chinese are, actually they will take this particular advantage. So the article says that such kind of statement should not be there. Particularly the role of the Depsang, the importance of Depsang has been talked about here. Let's understand first of all the Depsang, where it is. Clear? So guys, here we have the Depsang plain. Here we have this Depsang plain. Now this Depsang plain is actually very important. What is the importance of this Depsang? Let's understand it. Now, first of all, here there is a Depsang. Now guys, here there is a Siachen glacier. Fine. The Karakoram Pass is there, and around just 80 km away is the LOC from the Depsang. Clear? So it is very near to the LOC, line of actual control, which is between India and Pakistan. It is very much near to the Karakoram Pass. Fine. Near to the Siachen glacier. So because of this particular thing, the Depsang plain are very important, and they are called as the subsector north by the Indian military. We say that the Depsang is resolved. So therefore the Chinese, if they are having the strategic position into the Depsang, they will say that this is the Chinese position, because India don't have any kind of problem in this particular thing. Fine. So line of actual control with the Pakistan administered Gilgit-Baltistan is just 80 km away west of the Depsang plain. Okay. This is all these particular things. Even the Ladakh's traditional route to Central Asia, it passes through the Depsang plain. So all these are the importance it has given here. So therefore, the basically into this particular aspect, what has happened, a denial of truth is happening, which might be problematic to India. So just take a very crisp, short and direct message out of it. Don't go too much into the detail. Don't go too much into the technicalities. Just a crisp and direct message is to be taken, that what is the importance. Fine, and we can use it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. A disjointed response. So this particular article is, guys, just telling about the decision with respect to the cryptocurrencies that has been taken. Now when we talk about the cryptocurrencies, the cryptocurrencies had become very popular into the past few years after the arrival of the Bitcoin, which is actually a cryptocurrency. When we talk about cryptocurrencies, these are the virtual currencies. They are not backed by the gold, by the central banks of a country. Fine. So they are different from the other physical currencies that are there. They are the virtual currencies. Okay. Now when we talk about the cryptocurrencies, okay, in India also there are large number of exchanges which are facilitating the trade of the cryptocurrencies, and large money is being spent there also. In the monsoon session, government said that okay, we will be coming out with a bill to regularize the cryptocurrencies, and there was a lot of speculation that the cryptocurrency might get banned in India. If we see, actually in 2019 they were banned also by the government, but then RBI in 2020 said that no, this is wrong, you cannot ban it. If you want, bring a law. So after 2020 March, Supreme Court's direction, cryptocurrencies are going on India, they are being traded. Now what had happened, the finance minister had provided that we will tax the cryptocurrencies, not cryptocurrencies, all the virtual digital currencies, digital assets. Fine. As any asset involving the codes and non-fungible tokens, they will be taxed. So they will be taxed at the, basically the profits will be taxed at 30%. Profits will be taxed at 30%. Then there will be the applicable surcharge. Then there will be a cess, and there will be additional 1% tax which will be deducted by the buyers. Find the buyers, from their 1% tax will be additionally deducted if they are doing a transaction beyond a particular threshold. So the currencies have been taxed. Now understand this particular thing, guys. Please don't read this particular article with a point of view of a chartered accountant if you are preparing for UPSC. Why? Because how much cess, then how much liability? No, not at all important. Just broadly you need to understand that what type of taxation is being applied. So broadly such taxation is being applied. Now guys, the finance minister had made very clearly that though we are imposing the tax onto the cryptocurrencies, but we are not providing the legitimacy to the cryptocurrencies, and in future if we want, we can delegitimize it also. But guys, the delegitimization it is not there onto the card. Why? Because it is not listed now into the parliament's agenda. It was listed into the monsoon session that a bill will be brought. Fine. Now however, it is off the agenda, so we might see the regularization of the cryptocurrencies in India. Now there is one particular thing, that if you have to regularize the cryptocurrency, come out very clearly so that Indian startups which were working onto the cryptos, they can scale up there into the global ecosystem. So this is something which has been just provided. However guys, beyond that, please don't go. Fine, most which you will read in your examination. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay, so guys, here there are the two articles. One is the article from the editorial section and one is the article from the text and the context section of the Hindu newspaper. Understand now one very important thing that I'm going to tell. Is it clear? Not only for this particular article, but a very meaningful lesson. See, budget had come on 2nd of February. Editorial analysis, I had taken the entire budget theme wise: health, social, infrastructure. Fine, that particular video, if you have seen, after that particular thing, now what will happen for next few days, different people will be coming and they will critically analyze the speech of the finance minister and the numbers that had been given here. Too much of the bare technical thread line analysis will be done onto the budget numbers, but these budget numbers analysis is not important for you guys for your UPSC examination, because questions never they are asked on such technical details. Thematic questions are there: manufacturing, social sector, health sector, such kind of questions are asked. So I will not advise with respect to going in such a threadbare analysis for a long term understanding. However, yesterday also certain articles we have taken, day before yesterday we have taken. All these articles are more than sufficient if any question comes. However, I had provided the summary here of both the articles. Fine, so to do my job I have done it, but I will not advise it. If you want, you can just read the summary of it. Fine, but with respect to the importance, not much important. Fine, you can take a call. Now we'll move to the next article. You can download the PDF and you can read the summary, but not very important. India's air traffic controllers overworked, understaffed. Now in GS paper number 4, we have in the topic number 7 the topic of work culture. We have the topic of work culture in the topic number 7 in GS paper number 4. Work culture is there. Now understand, when we talk about work culture provides the a kind of a dignified working condition. First of all, what is work culture? Understand, work culture is a set of norms and values that are there in an organization. Secondly, it pertains to the relationships that are going on between the different levels of organizations, and it also pertains to socio-physical environment of that particular workplace. So all these things if you combine, you will get a work culture of a particular workplace. Now good work culture brings the productivity, good work culture brings the efficiency. Is it clear? It brings the productivity, it brings the efficiency, and a good work culture has been very important for productivity of the employees. You can see that as now new age work culture is being brought by the big tech such as the Google, Facebook, the productive and happy employees had led to meteoric rise of these organizations. Now when we talk about the air traffic controllers, they play a very important role. They guide the flights while landing and while taking off, and they being productive, they being alert is very important for the safety of hundreds and thousands of people. Now but what has happened, when we talk about the India's air traffic controllers, they are overworked and understaffed. They are not being given their breaks, they are not being given their holidays, and this particular thing is not only an example of poor work culture, it is not only an example of poor work culture, but it also shows that how the humans, they are being used just for their productivity and the human regard is not being taken care of. Guys, the Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher Immanuel Kant provided that the human beings are needed to be treated as an end and not as a mean. Now just using the people without giving them breaks, without giving them proper refreshments, etc., is going against the categorical imperative of Kant. So this is something which we can use. Now guys, please don't go into the nitty-gritties of this particular article, but just as a case study you can utilize it in your ethics paper number 4. So that is all about this particular article. Now guys, this particular article, Jaffna fishermen hold protest opposing Indian trawling. Fine, so what has happened? Okay, there is one comment, sir. How to make short notes for revision, because after some days I can't recall those data easily. Okay, dear, let's see that particular thing in a separate session. Okay, or you can contact me on the Telegram also. We can see that particular thing. I believe let's have a different session on that particular thing. We will take it up. Fine. Now, Jaffna fishermen hold protest opposing Indian trawling. See what has happened. There was recently a clash happened between the India and the Sri Lankan fishermen, and a few fishermen had died in this particular clash. Now, this thing is not at all important. Fine, this clash which is not at all important for you. But this trawling is actually a problem, and it is an irritant between the India and Sri Lanka relation. So let's understand this trawling problem. So concept is important. Now guys, basically you see what is this trawling. Here we can see that there is a ship. Now the ship, basically the big vessels, they adopt the practice of bottom down trawling. They adopt actually the practice of bottom down trawling. What is this bottom down trawling? Basically there will be a net. Okay, there will be this net, and here on the net there will be the weights that will be attached, just something like this. Now this net will fall on the floor of the sea. Okay, and then the ship will drag this particular net. The ship will drag this particular net. Now as this particular net is being dragged, all the catch, it will be going into this particular net. Now not only the fish will go and productive yield will go, but even the small fishes, the plants, and a lot of minerals, fine, they will also be trapped into this particular net. Fine, after that what will happen, that net will be retrieved and the fishes which are needed, they will be taken. But guys, this bottom down trawling is a very ecologically disastrous practice. Why? Because see, first of all, what happened, there is the unproductive fish produce, small fishes which are not productive, they are also being taken away. Second thing, all the kind of catch, even required, unrequired, it is being fetched, and it creates a lot of disturbance into the marine ecosystem. So this bottom down trawling is a problematic thing. Now who does this bottom down trawling? Only the big vessel owners or the big vessels, they can carry this bottom down trawling. Now this is the Park Strait. Fine, and here we have the Gulf of Mannar. Now basically guys, these waters are common for the Sri Lankan fishermen and the Tamil Nadu's fishermen. Now the Tamil Nadu's fishermen, they have big vessels and they use this bottom down trawling for the fishing. Because they do that particular thing, Sri Lankan fishermen say that we are not able to get any kind of fish catch. They catch all the fishes, and this thing had brought confrontation over and over again between the India fish Sri Lanka fishermen. For that particular thing, India Sri Lanka fishermen forum was also started by India and Sri Lanka. India Sri Lanka fishermen forum was started where all these issues were to be discussed. But guys, nothing has happened, and every day these particular things are continuing, and now a new clash, a new confrontation had happened, and these Jaffna fishermen, they are opposing this Indian trawling. Fine, so here we have the Jaffna. Okay, so this is guys the entire issue. Please don't go into the article. This concept is important which you need to understand. Okay, so that is all guys about it. I hope that you have understood it. And with respect to the notes, okay, DD guitar, we will come out with some kind of thing also on that. You can contact me on Telegram also, but separately also I will discuss that thing in some separate video. Okay, so that is all about it, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I hope you have understood it. If you are liking, please guys do hit the like button. Please do comment. Your comments, they are a constant encouragement for us to continue with this initiative and to come out with even more good content. That is all. Please answer the MCQ questions also. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.